New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring. New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Live from a secure concrete bunker somewhere in Ohio, New Thought Media Network presents Pastor Michael Mangus with Friday's Fireside Chat, spiritual conversation for today. Here he is from the secret radio room, surrounded by thousands of watts, Pastor Michael Mangus.
And a very pleasant Friday evening to you. The Friday evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. I am Reverend Michael Mangus, and I am broadcasting this evening from the highly secure concrete bunker somewhere around Akron, Ohio, that is so top secret that only one person knows where we are located. No one else has any clue, especially that Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski. We keep it from him at all costs. There are some times in which I don't want him to find me. And maybe after tonight's show, that'll be one of those times. Well, hi there. Good evening to you. I am without a commentator this evening. So guess what? You'll have to be the commentator here. Again, please feel free to join our conversation here in the comments. Help me out this evening. I'm going solo. So help me out here. But all you shy people out there who don't want to comment, I know who you are. You're out there. I see you in my magic mirror, and I know you're out there. So why don't you write me an email during the week? pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. There, I will read your wonderful email during the week. pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. So the purpose of our get together here on Friday evenings is for us to get real and to talk about the world and a spiritual look at the world. And again, the views and opinions expressed are those of my own, not those of New Thought Media Network, Centers for Spiritual Living, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, or anyone else living or dead. All right, take what you like and leave the rest. But I want us all to have a new thought. This is not about denying the facts, but it's knowing beyond the facts and again, getting to the truth. And the truth is that the world itself is evolving into a new age, an age of enlightenment, an age where that the world does work for everyone. And I'm all alone this evening, except for you. I'm glad you joined me tonight. So again, please feel free to go ahead and to comment. So we have lots of news this evening. And again, I would like more your opinion about it than mine. All right. So we will start off this evening with the Harris-Walz interview, and this happened on CNN this week. Vice President Kamala Harris on Thursday evening offered her most expansive explanation to date on why she has changed some of her positions, including on fracking and immigration, in an exclusive sit-down interview with CNN's Dana Bash. Harris said that her values haven't shifted, but that her time as vice president provided new perspectives and information on some of the country's most pressing issues. Speaking along with running mate Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, Harris said that she would also name a Republican to serve in her cabinet if elected. Now, that in and of itself is not new. Usually, Democratic presidents usually go ahead and they do get Republicans in there, again, the best qualified candidates. Going on here, she said she also sought to frame the 2024 race as one that offered the American people a new way forward after a political decade in which Donald Trump, in office or out, was a central figure. Also during that debate, Walz says that his military record speaks for itself in a CNN interview. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz shrugged off an accusation that he misstated his military record when asked about it alongside Vice President Kamala Harris in the first major sit-down interview of their campaign for the White House. CNN's Dana Bash and also asked Walz about remarks in 2018 when he was running for Congress. And they said he carried a weapon of war in war as he discussed his support for restricting assault weapons. Walz, who served 24 years in the National Guard but was not in combat, says he misspoke, chalking it up to garbling some words. He said, "My grammar is not always correct." True here also, Governor. The Republican criticism was part of a broader effort to tarnish Walz soon after he emerged as Harris's running mate. But the effects of the accusation have been muted in part because former President Donald Trump's made well-known efforts to dodge military service, and his running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, from the great state of Ohio, served 4 years in the Marine Corps and was deployed to Iraq, but did not have combat experience. Their Senator Vance was a military correspondent. Walz says in the CNN interview that his military record speaks for itself as he dismisses the criticism. He says, "I'm incredibly proud that I've done 24 years of wearing the uniform of this country, equally proud of my service in a public school classroom." Also, he was a coach also, whether it's in Congress or the governor. He said, "My record speaks for itself and I speak candidly. I wear my emotions on my sleeve and I speak especially passionately about our children being shot in schools and around guns." The Minnesota governor was dismissive of other attacks, including by Republican media figures on his son, whose tearful applause for his father was one of the more emotional moments at the Democratic National Convention. "If it's not this, it's an attack on my children for showing love to me, or it's an attack on my dog," Walz says. "I'm not going to do that. And the one thing that I'll never do is I will never demean another member's service in any way. I never have, and I never will." Interesting. Everything is going to be brought up during this election. Everything. And as someone who does support the military, I know that Reverend Jeff Radcliff, who's a regular here on our show, is a proud military veteran. And I know other veterans, and I thank them for their service. And that any type of service should not be demoralized or demeaned. Absolutely not. Now, with Governor Walz, what happened was that his unit was called up 2 months after that he accepted retirement. And the reason that he gave was because that he was going to run for office. Governor Walz could have retired a lot sooner. So this whole idea that he deserted his men, his company, is completely and totally false. He spent 24 years honorably in the National Guard. So again, I want to thank all the veterans out there. Thank you for your service. Thank you for keeping us free. Thank you that we can even have a conversation like this tonight. So thank you. And Donald Trump stepped in it again this week. And boy, did he. The U.S. Army rebukes Trump's campaign for incident at Arlington National Cemetery, also known as ANC. The U.S. Army issued a stark rebuke of former President Donald Trump's presidential campaign over the incident on Monday at Arlington National Cemetery, saying in a statement on Thursday that participants in the ceremony were made aware of federal laws regarding political activity at the cemetery and abruptly pushed aside an employee of the cemetery. I can't make this stuff up here. Participants in the August 26th ceremony and the subsequent Section 60 visits were made aware of federal laws, Army regulations, and also DoD policies, which clearly prohibited political activities on cemetery grounds. An ANC employee who attempted to ensure adherence to these rules was abruptly pushed aside. Section 60 is an area in the ANC that's largely reserved for the graves of those who served in Iraq and also Afghanistan. This incident was unfortunate, and it's also unfortunate that the ANC employee and her professionalism has been unfairly attacked. ANC is a national shrine to the honored dead of the armed forces, and its dedicated staff will continue to ensure public ceremonies are conducted with dignity and respect to all of the nation's fallen and also all that they deserve, the statement said. So a video of the visit posted by the Trump campaign on TikTok showed video of the former president walking through Arlington and visiting grave sites with audio of him criticizing the Biden administration's disaster of the Afghanistan withdrawal. Both, according to a statement from the Arlington National Cemetery obtained by CNN, federal law prohibits political campaigns or election-related activities within Army national military ceremonies. Some veterans groups have spoken out about Trump's campaign conducting political activity at Arlington, one of the most sacred burial grounds for U.S. service members. Allison Jaslow, the CEO of the Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America, said in a statement that there are plenty of places appropriate for politics. Arlington is not one of them. Any aspiring elected official, especially one who hopes to be the commander-in-chief again, should not be confused about that fact, Jaslow said, nor should they hide behind members of our community to justify politicking on such sacred ground. Now, here's a former president who in previous weeks has said that individuals who have received the Medal of Honor, the highest civilian award, that they were better than those, again, who received the Purple Heart and also the Honor of Valor, the Medal of Valor, because they weren't shot up. Again, I'm encouraging everyone to please go vote this fall. Vote your values. And as I said this morning on Ministers Talking Excrement on the New Thought Media Network with the Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski, we encouraged you this morning, and we're encouraging you this evening, no matter what your political party is, just go vote. Just go vote. If this angers you, if this upsets you, then show it by your vote. Go vote for candidates that match your values. You're not powerless in this situation here. And again, my prayer is for this country every single day, that hearts may be open to love. And yes, I know that there's stuff on both sides. I get that. And that what candidate is more reflective of your values? That's the question to ask here. Let's see who's with us this evening. Diana said, Trump's egomania at work again. Yes. Pamela Longville-Coon says that is sacred ground. Where's the respect? This infuriates me. And also, this is Dr. Missy. Hello, Dr. Missy. I am a United States Air Force veteran of almost 25 years. The DJT calls veterans suckers and losers. Arlington is hallowed ground. And what I am suggesting here is, with the sentiment here, is to please vote for the candidates that support our veterans, that is supportive of our fighting men and women, and also supportive of our veterans also. Dr. Missy also says, I continue to bless him. He is perfect for his level of development. However, I will vote for his opposite. Absolutely. Diana says this evening, she says, it was not fair to the other two families that did not give him permission for their grave sites to be shown. Again, the egomania of Trump is showing, and also showing also all of his flaws. That's why I'm saying here's this. Please, please, please go vote. Encourage other people to vote. What are your values? What are your spiritual values? All right. Oh, yes, we have more. 45 News. Former President Donald Trump filed a petition on Thursday seeking to move his New York State criminal case to a federal court in Manhattan and push off the upcoming sentences for his conviction on 34 counts of falsifying business records. The petition asks the court to confirm that Trump cannot be sentenced while litigation over the removal to federal court is pending. Trump's sentencing is currently scheduled for September the 18th, though Judge John Merchan is expected to rule in early September on a previously filed motion from Trump's legal team, which the Manhattan District Attorney's Office did not oppose, to delay it until after the election. However, on a cheerier note, the musical group ABBA tells Trump to stop using their songs at rallies. ABBA, the hit musical group from the 70s and early 80s, has demanded Donald Trump stop playing their songs at his campaign events. Hits by the Swedish pop group include Dancing Queen, The Winner Takes It All, and Money, Money, Money. And they were playing at a rally for Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance, in July in Minnesota. The band's label said on Thursday that Trump's campaign did not have the authorization to use the songs nor to show a 10-minute clip of their greatest anthems. Together with the members of ABBA, we have discovered that videos have been released where ABBA's music has been used at Trump events. And we have therefore requested that such use be immediately removed and taken down, Universal Music said in a statement. It added that no permission or license had been granted to the Trump campaign. The members of ABBA have said that they will not comment further, but have emphasized their full support for Universal's statement. Now, the band joins, I'm going to read off a list of music groups that have told Donald Trump not to play their music at campaign events. Now, last week, though, Beyonce's label issued Trump's team a cease and desist letter after the song Freedom was used in a video clip shared online. Kamala Harris, however, was given permission to kick off her campaign with an ad featuring the same song. Now, here are all the artists who do not want Donald Trump to play their music in alphabetical order. ABBA, Adele, Beyonce, Bruce Springsteen, Celine Dion, the Foo Fighters, the George Harrison Estate, Guns N' Roses, Leonard Cohen's estate, Neil Young, Pharrell Williams, the Prince Estate, REM, Rihanna, the Rolling Stones, Sinead O'Connor's estate, and Tom Petty's estate. I just have to laugh at this. Earlier this month, the Foo Fighters donated to the Harris campaign after the band said that Trump had used one of its songs at a rally without their permission. And also days before, Celine Dion demanded that the Trump-Vance campaign stop using her music, calling her the use of the song My Heart Will Go On. Isn't that from the movie Titanic? I think so. At a Montana rally unauthorized. In late March, late Irish singer and activist Sinead O'Connor's label also demanded that the Trump campaign also stop using her music. Interesting. And I remember that when the late Rush Limbaugh, who was a conservative talk show host, he used a Pretender song. Chrissy Hine, who's from the Akron area, Akron, Ohio area. It was called My City Is Gone. And again, it talked about, in the song, about how Chrissy came back into town and she said, everything's different. Everything has changed. So what Mr. Limbaugh did was he went ahead and he made it into a theme anthem that opened the show every single day. Now, for a while, the Pretenders did not let him use the song. However, again, I guess a deal was made and he was allowed to use the music, and it's still used today. However, again, we have power. We can say no. Individuals have said, listen, this is not according to our values. This is not according to what we believe. And that's what I am sharing these stories about this evening. If things are not of your spiritual values, the things that you hold precious to you, your spirituality, your relationship with the divine, your relationship with other people, that it's time to stand up, besides pray, is to do spiritual mind treatment and take action. And the best way that you can take action, especially this fall, is vote, vote, vote. Diana said, good for Abba. Pamela said, I am an American and I believe in the American flag, and I am so deeply appreciative of the men and women who are buried at Arlington's National Cemetery for giving their lives for all of us. Absolutely. And let's understand here, too, that pushing aside a cemetery professional, it's just not acceptable. They are there to coordinate the activities at the National Cemetery. They are extremely professional. I've dealt with them at our National Cemetery around here in the Akron area. Extremely professional, extremely kind, and that this employee did not deserve to be bullied at all or shoved. And personally, I would have put more staff on it. Well, hi there. It's the Friday evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. It's good to see everyone this evening. Thank you for being our guest commentators. I really appreciate it. Yes, Jeff asked for the evening off. And I said, okay. Wasn't that nice of me? Huh? Well, let's do a few announcements and then we'll be back. We have some interesting stories here. Anti-Trump evangelical Christians make a case for Harris. We'll also be talking about an unbelievable story about a Baptist pastor that says that gay preachers should get a bullet in their brain. We will also talk about the protests to that comment, and a story from Ohio. A gay man was the only applicant for a town council seat he lost anyhow because of his sexuality, all coming up in the second half of the exciting and always informative fireside chat here on your New Thought Media Network. All right, let's do a few announcements here, and then we'll be right back. Yours truly is currently parking himself at Summit Center for Spiritual Living. For more information, please go to summitcsl.org. There you will find more information about our wonderful Sunday gathering online at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific time. Please join us. It's a great time. Grab your cup of coffee, your tea, your espresso, and please join us. We do have one of the best services I've seen in New Thought because we balance what I call the 3 M's, and that's music, message, and meditation. So this Sunday, I'm guessing here, I think it's our spiritual director, practitioner extraordinaire, Diana Mangus, but I am not sure of that. So it could be me. So I will get corrected here in just a moment. But our service is also simulcast on the Summit Spiritual Center of Akron Facebook page, and our Facebook page also has past broadcasts of the Fireside Chat and yours truly when he is praying on New Thought Media Network. I just want to just ask everyone this evening here to go on our website, ntmedia.org, and find out about all the programs that we have. And that if you have missed any of our 40 plus hours of programming every week, please go to our YouTube page. Yours truly, every single week, puts together the playlist of all the shows. So if you have missed 1 or 2 or 3, or are curious, or want to become and be inspired, even at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, your time, you can go on the YouTube page at New Thought Media Network. And also, if you have not done so, please consider donating. We really appreciate your financial contributions to help us help others. This message goes around the world. We get messages from individuals from different countries saying that they are blessed and inspired because of our programming. And one of the big complaints about New Thought over the years has been, well, we are the best kept secret. No more. We are not the best kept secret. Is that we are out there and we are making a difference in the world. And one of the ways that we're making a difference is through this network. ntmedia.org/donate. All right. Okay. From the flight deck, yes, it is, I will be the speaker. Oh, it's so interesting to have my boss on. One of my bosses. All right. We will get back to more stories here in just a few moments. This is the Friday evening fireside chat here on your New Thought Media Network.
Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity, Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center, Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living, North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living, Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring.
The views and opinions expressed by Pastor Michael Mangus are generally right. However, they are his own and do not reflect the views and opinions of New Thought Media Network, Centers for Spiritual Living, or any other person living or dead. As they say in the 12-Step Recovery Program, take what you like and leave the rest. Here again is Pastor Michael.
Well, hello there again. We're back with the news here on Positively Inspiring, New Thought Media Network, on our Friday evening Fireside Chat. And our next news story, anti-Trump evangelistic Christians make a case for Harris. In his political campaigns in 2008 and 2012, President Barack Obama captured 26% and 21% of the white evangelical Christian voters, respectively, and won. Hillary Clinton got only 16% of the white evangelical vote in 2016 and lost. In the past two elections, Donald Trump took more than 80% of the white evangelical vote. Most analysts agree that if Kamala Harris can break this hold on religious conservatives and approach Obama's numbers, that she will sail into the White House. Now, to recapture the religious conservative vote for the Democrats, evangelical groups that are aligned with the Democratic mission are alternating between the carrot and the stick. So the carrot, appealing to voters' religious identities in a positive way, aim to show that Democratic policies in general, and Harris's in particular, manifest a rich and broad understanding of religious duty grounded in the gospel. It's not mentioned in the article, however, that Kamala Harris is a Christian who belongs to a Baptist church. Now, the stick is in large measure about wielding the prospect of a second term for Donald Trump. In this case, some of the same groups make the case that Trump is simply not a worthy representative of Christianity. But it's also a broader argument that the Republican Party promotes an idea of religion that is too narrowly focused, divisive, and intensely polarizing. There were several in this article, religious leaders who are supporting Kamala Harris. Tim Whitaker, who is the creator and facilitator of the New Evangelist, who attended the convention, the DNC convention, also favored the carrot approach. What values should be guiding the voters, he asked. The biggest ones are the values of non-dehumanization, how to make sure that we care about people who fall through the cracks of our society. What does it mean to love not just our personal neighbor, but all of our neighbors? Policies that help us promote our humanity flourishing and also the flourishing of our neighbors. And let me stop right there. The whole idea, and again, if you read through the Bible, the Old Testament also, it's referred to as the Jewish Bible, and also the New Testament by Christians. If you read the whole book, it emphasizes not the belittling of gays, not the racism that is proposed from the Old Testament, but it talks mostly, there's like 60 to 70 verses about caring for the poor, caring for the needy, caring for the widows. That is what they're talking about here. And the whole idea of our government having those same values, not a handout, but a push up. All right. So it's all in how we take a look at it here. The Stick strategy made its convention debut with an ad that was produced by Evangelicals for Harris that called Donald Trump a false prophet. It featured scathing clips of Trump, insisting that he alone can fix things and boasting that he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and wouldn't lose any voters, and highlighting his dehumanizing characterizations of fellow Americans. And at its close, the ad exhorts viewers to read the New Testament's first letter of John and to choose Christ's love. This election's important. And as I talked about this morning with Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski during the morning show, it's important, again, that we wield the power of the vote. If you do nothing else but make sure that you are registered to vote, make sure that your ID is up to date, and if you can, like in Colorado, just go ahead and mail in your ballot. Please vote. Please encourage other people to vote. Please encourage other people at your center to vote. And also, please, it's not the others. Again, I have people who you would consider MAGA, Trump supporters. And for me, what I do is this. I just go ahead and I put my beliefs out there. Again, like the disclaimer says, take what you like and leave the rest. I'm not going to convince them by berating them. It's interesting that when, because I have permission, that when Diana went ahead and put online the other evening something about, I think it was Tim Walz, that when she put something on Facebook, that one of her friends got on there and said some really interesting things about the Biden administration. So instead of fighting it, that Diana went ahead and put, well, you have your opinion and I have mine. And that's the same thing that I've done also. When individuals have gotten really heated over things, I just take the post off. It's just not worth it. And I'm also not going to go ahead and to get rid of or ostracize people that I love. Is that love? Is that seeing good in them? Because there is. I may disagree with their policy, but I know at the center of their being is love. And so that's what I love. That's what I see. I see beyond the appearances, and I see that. Well, one thing that's hard to see beyond the appearance is our next story, but we're just going to go ahead and do it anyhow. And the reason I bring up this story is because there's something that we can do about it. Baptist pastor says that gay preachers should get a bullet in their brain. A Texas preacher is shamelessly and brazenly calling for the murder of 2 gay pastors and the church officials who hosted them. Dylan Awis, who's a hate preacher that's based in, and I'm probably going to mess this up. It's Watauga, Texas, recently attacked the head of a megachurch for inviting two married gay men to deliver a sermon. Awis said that Pastor Charles Andrew Stanley, or Andy Stanley, who founded the non-denominational evangelical North Point Ministries in Georgia, and the two men that he had on should get the death penalty, not be preaching behind the pulpit. This is what Dylan Awis said. He said, "What a nice guy Andy Stanley is. What a nice guy you are for letting children in your congregation be abused by pedophiles. How nice of all the pastors today that are enabling sexual predators in their church to harm people permanently, to scar them for life, to hurt them spiritually because you just want to be nice." Well, you know what? These are his words now. He said, "Go to hell, Andy Stanley, and every single pastor like you, go to hell." Boy, isn't that some nice Christian words coming from a pastor? Awis continually referred to the men as sodomites and also used derogatory anti-gay slurs about them several times. Now, notably, Awis hadn't even spoken about the thousands of documented cases of abuse against children by clergy who were not LGBTQ+. This is not the first time that Awis has called for violence against LGBTQ+ people. He delivered a sermon in 2022 using many of the same phrases. Awis is a preacher for the Steadfast Baptist Church, a group that is not affiliated with any mainstream Baptist denomination. The group split up after its lead pastor, now get this, was revealed to have solicited prostitutes and engaged in gambling. And Awis joined the non-denominational New Independent Fundamentalist Baptist called the New IFB movement. The Southern Poverty Law Center designates the organization as a hate group. Now, a group of concerned citizens in Texas have taken their community safety into their own hands by protesting about this gentleman. The Steadfast Baptist Church, again, has a history of doing this. Mandy Skinner, with her partner Lynette Sharp, as shown in the picture, says this: "We are normal people. We just live our lives every day. It just so happens that I love her, and she loves me, and neither of us owns a penis." The pair are among the residents who gathered to protest outside the strip mall where the Steadfast Baptist Church holds twice on Sunday services and also on Wednesday evening. Skinner said this. She says that he's calling for people like us to be shot. And there is no way for us to feel, think, and believe it's just a matter of time before someone from that congregation decides to take up arms and to do his bidding. Watauga's police chief, Robert Parker, told the Star-Telegram that "we have reviewed this, multiple cases, multiple sermons, and it fits within the Constitution of free speech." And the reason he explained this was because he was explaining why church leaders have not been arrested. While sermons may fall under protected speech in the courtroom, Skinner says, the community should not take these threats lightly. Skinner concluded by saying they're so close to home, there is no way that we can't be afraid of that. So making our voice heard, sticking up for our LGBTQ brothers and sisters, by saying enough's enough. I don't find that kind of hate in the Bible. I don't. I just don't. And there's a lot of things in Leviticus, of which he was saying that, again, in Leviticus, it says that people who are homosexuals should be put to death. Well, there's a lot of other reasons there, including individuals who have committed adultery, that they should also be put to death. So this whole idea of this misinterpretation of Scripture, this taking out of context of the God of love, and of, again, this is one of the reasons why Christianity and also religion, for the most part, has a bad name. And see, it's up to us, for the individuals who have a spiritual bent. It's up to us to return the God of love to the world, to say this is enough. Enough's enough. This is a wrong interpretation of Scripture. All right. We have some comments here. Diana says, she says, Trump is not a positive leader in any way. He wants to be a dictator and not a loving, caring person at all. And also that daily prayer for each person to truly look at the best possible leadership, and that the change in leadership is peaceful no matter what the outcome. I agree. Absolutely. All right, one more story, and the reason I bring this up, also, Reverend Dr. Melissa says this: call divine order into the situation. Call divine order. Wow. I feel that, Reverend Dr. Melissa. That's wonderful. Call divine order into the situation. So you have your prayer request for the week. How about that? One more here. And this does hit close to home because this is in Ohio. A gay man was the only applicant for a town council seat. He lost anyway because of his sexuality. An Ohio man was denied a position on his village council despite being the only applicant, and the council president's reasoning was pretty blatant. He actually came out with a public statement about it. After being the only applicant for a vacant seat on his village council, an Ohio man was still denied the position, and the council president's reasoning was pretty blatant. The man, David Nation, remember that name? 41, he moved to Waynesville over 16 years ago to be with his now husband. He immediately fell in love with quaint town, which is home to approximately 2,600 people. Waynesville is located, it's right between Dayton and Cincinnati to the east. So it's not right in the middle, but it's to the east of both towns. It's closer to Xenia than it is to Cincinnati. Anyhow, so it's in the southern part of Ohio. So after moving there a decade and a half, and also doing a considerable amount of community service there, Nation decided to apply to a seat on the Waynesville Village Council. When it announced a vacancy on June 17th, he told the Buckeye Flame. Nation applied weeks before the July 10th deadlines that the council set for applications, and remained the only applicant as the deadline passed. Still, he was not sworn in at a July 15th council meeting where the President pro temp, Chris Colvin announced that they would instead be interviewing 4 candidates, Nation, and 3 others who had not applied but were sought out after the deadline had passed. Isn't this interesting? Nation said that his interview went very well and that the mayor even told him that he was the most qualified for the position. Despite that, though, council adjourned without filling the seat. Weeks went by without a word until Nation saw on July 29th that council was holding a special meeting on July 31st to appoint someone. Nation spent 2 days gathering signatures of support from other residents, garnering 100 signatures and submitting them to council. He did not attend the meeting, where the members instead appointed Lyle Anthony, one of the 3 other candidates, who has lived in the town 10 years fewer than Nation. Colvin, the president pro tem, then was asked to submit to the record remarks on why he did not support Nation. Now, this is what he wrote. He says he was very concerned about DEI policies, and that's diversity, equity, and inclusion, being advocated in our municipality. It says, my lack of support for David Nation in this appointment is due in his application, including that on his resume, his core achievements focused on diversity and inclusion, and his efforts of being a founding member of the Rainbow Alliance, which advocates for DEI in local government, business, and educational institutions. DEI. Nation, soon after, heard of the appointment and Colvin's comments from friends and several residents who told him that they would speak in support of him at the next meeting on August the 5th. Community members unanimously slammed the council's shady deal and focused on a nation's sexual orientation at the meeting, though Colvin was not present because he was on vacation. Isn't that interesting? So while he pursues other possible recourses to make sure that something like this can't happen again, Nation says that he intends to make a statement by running for council in the 2025 election. He said he will continue giving back to the community, telling the Flame, I'm not going to let them scare me off. It's just not going to happen. Nation said this, my whole life I have fought for gay rights, and I can't believe that this is still where we are. I will have the biggest campaign they've ever seen in this tiny town. Just you wait and see. It's more than just praying, folks. Again, it's treating and moving our feet and making our voices known in the community and supporting candidates like Mr. Nation, who again was denied his seat because of his, not only his sexual orientation, but also that he is for diversity, equity, and inclusion. A lot of individuals of lighter skinned think that we're all on an even playing field. That is not true. We are not. How many times, if you are of a light skin complexion or white, how many times do you think of race every day? I don't. But ask that to a person who is brown or darker, and they will tell you almost every day. So having policies of DEI helps to level the playing field and helps to get individuals into positions so that they can raise other people into the same positions. All right? And guess what? Our time is up. Boy, that hour goes by quick. Again, thank you for all your comments this evening. Really appreciate it. And thank you for watching this evening. And we are planning some guests here in the future. I can't tell you yet because the ink isn't even on the contracts. But my people have to get with their people. They have to do lunch. Money has to be exchanged. And all that stuff. But again, thank you for joining us this evening. Again, join us again next week. You have a good week too, Reverend Dr. Melissa. And the rest of everyone out there, again, thank you so very much for being with us. And join us this weekend again. Watch many of our programs on our YouTube page, on the New Thought Media Network YouTube page. All of our shows there are not only archived, but they also are in playlists. So if you missed one or two or a lot of shows, you can go back and you can take a look at them. So for myself, the Reverend Michael Mangus, and also the Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski, our Chief Inspirational Officer, and all of you, again, you have a wonderful week, and we will see you next week.
Thanks for joining us this evening for Friday's Fireside Chat with Pastor Michael Mangus. Join us again next week at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain for more spiritual conversations for today. For more information and replays of past shows, please visit the New Thought Radio and Media Network's Facebook page. Until next week, may God bless you richly and abundantly.